What's up guys, Henry here. Today we are going to be installing my TRD wing on my IS. I go through this about once a year every year. I put this thing on for about a couple of months, then I take it off. I get tired of it and I want the wingless look, but I love being able to swap in between wingless and this. As you can see, it's pretty cool. It is carbon on the bottom side and then painted on the top. So it's kind of subtle. It's meant to be a subtlety, and then you can kind of see it and you're like, whoa, carbon, that's kind of neat, whatever. Anyway, I kind of just want to show you my process on installing it. Super simple, straightforward. I did see a couple of videos online, one of them about using silicone and it being removable. I'm gonna go ahead and call BS on that. I talked to a couple of friends, Kamal at Super Life. Silicone should be a last resort. Something that you know that you're not going to reuse the trunk in any way, shape, or form. It's going to pull paint off once you pull it off. We'll take a look at my trunk here in a second, but I've had this wing on and off the trunk probably 4 or 5 times. I go back and forth, and I like being able to go back and forth. And if you do this right, it will stay on with double-sided tape. But if you do it wrong, it'll fly off. So it's a matter of using the right stuff and using the right method. So let's get right into it. So just to be thorough, I am actually using the 3M adhesion promoter. You can use isopropyl alcohol. There's really no difference in the two. But I'm using the 3M adhesion promoter just because, and I didn't have any alcohol in the house, so that's probably why. So I got that. Then I am using 3M 5952, I believe, VHB double-sided tape. This is the good stuff. It's meant for outdoor. It's meant to be get wet. And now the next process that I'm about to say is very important. When you are putting this on the car and on the spoiler, you are going to want to heat up both the tape and the surface. That is a big deal. If you don't heat it up, it's not going to adhere properly and it's going to fly off. I've been over 140 miles an hour when I've had this thing on. It will stay as long as you do it right. So I went ahead and I put a strip down. I have 3 layers, just 1, 2, 3. This spoiler at the edges, it bows up just a hair. So I like to double up at the edges a little bit just to kind of fill in that space and give it that extra adhesion. I'm gonna go ahead and double up in a couple of spots, work on fitment, and then let's get this thing seated. So let's get over there and do it. So I'm basically now just trying to get this lined up. I always try to use a little bit of space there to try to figure out exactly where I am. So I see that's about even on either side, and that's about even on either side. And you can see we're pretty close. I could probably use a little bit of double up right there, but actually I think that's the only side that could use a little bit. Take a look at underneath here, and that looks pretty good as well. I like the way that looks. Maybe a little more. No, I feel pretty good about that actually. That looks about right. Like I said, just double up on the edge there, and this side looks to be about good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little more tape on there, and then get ready to install and grab the heat gun, as well as some adhesion promoter. So let's grab that stuff really quick. All right, so now that I've got the spoiler fully prepped, I'm going to prep the surface. Like I said, I'm going to grab the 3M adhesion promoter and just go ahead and soak this up and apply to the bumper, or rather the trunk that will be getting the spoiler. There we go. Bunch of adhesion promoter right on there. And let that dry there for a second. And now, next I am going to go ahead and heat this whole thing up.
Many hours later.
So I really only have one real good shot at this. Not a lot of space to kind of move it around. So you got to be really careful on application. That's what I would say is the one benefit of doing silicone over this. But again, you didn't ruin the trunk, and I don't want to ruin the trunk. All right, let's go ahead and get this seated. Just doing it from the bottom is a little bit easier. Lining up one side. About as close as it's gonna get. Oh yeah, we're looking pretty good. I am gonna wanna go ahead and get this on there. And that's all about on there. So now I'm just gonna heat it up and like give it a couple minutes to cool and then clean it off. And I think we should be pretty much set. That's pretty much gonna be your best way to do it. I'm gonna grab a couple clips of just how it looks on the car now, but that's gonna be your installation. Super simple, super quick. I probably could have done a better job by trimming a couple of those edges there, but I'm pretty happy with it. I'm excited to see it in the sun. So I'll get some photos, you'll see it on my Instagram. And thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. And let's look at this on the car now. So I turned the camera off already, but I figured I would show you this, which I didn't have on before. It is a Honda 08F03 SHJ 1100D, and that is this sweet little like gasket material. So yeah, you guys kind of saw I kind of did the tape work like crap. So I decided, or I actually just checked if I had it laying around, which I did. So it's a little bit better. Go on. Yeah, so that's your bonus.